What's happening, everybody? Happy Friday night. Hope everybody's had a great week and had a great day today. And let me change around the screen here for a moment. All right, there we go. So I see quite a few are joining on the show today. I appreciate everybody joining. It is good to have my partner and my co-host back on the air. Luke, what's going on, man? It's been like 10 weeks, 11 weeks. I miss you. The fans miss you. Good to have you back, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here. It's been too long.
Yeah, life happens, huh? And
Sure.
no more PTO time, okay? We got we got to give the fans what they want here, and good to have you back. So everybody, we have a lot. Hey, Adam, week 61, better late than never, he says. Good to have you, buddy. One of our loyal followers, Mr. Adam, 5749. Yes, better late than never. We took last week off and figured we'd go to week 61 and get Luke back on the show. So we've got a jam-packed show for you, lots of topics. We're going to talk Lions and Rams preview. If you are a Lions fan, Rams fan, NFC football fan, this game holds a key to a lot of it. Lions 4 games left. They got to basically win out to get in. We will talk about just a terribly unfortunate story for those of you that don't know myself or Luke's background. We're both from the state of Michigan. We both grew up University of Michigan fans. I left the program when Mr. Eyeballs there in the center, Jim Harbaugh, started all his crazy stuff. I kind of left the program. And then, yeah, tough stretch for football in the state of Michigan, huh? Adam says. Sherrone Moore, will cover him and just the horrific things that are going on. Warde Manuel there in the center. He's the AD. It appears that he's going to make the choice for the next coach, which is really, really interesting. Potential coaches, there are many, 6, 7, 8 being discussed. Marcus Freeman there I have in the picture. If there was ever to be one, he's the guy, but I don't think he's leaving Notre Dame. Todd Bowles, generally a very quiet guy, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After the Bucs collapsed last night, Todd had a lot of things to say, and he basically lit his team up, which most coaches don't usually do. Shedeur Sanders, we'll get Luke's thoughts on that as a former quarterback, very successful. A Vikings fan in the house. Wow. Hey, I'm a big J.J. McCarthy guy, so I've been a big fan of his, and he'll be just fine. You guys will be all right with him. And Luke will discuss Shedeur Sanders and then TJ Moe. All right. So for those of you, and this is where I'm going to start here, guys. For those of you who do not know who TJ Moe is, he was an athlete at the University of Missouri. He was later a free agent pickup of the Patriots, and I think he might have played for the Rams for a short stint. And then he was kind of in and out. How I came across TJ Moe in my life, I knew of him at Missouri as a big sports fan, but I, for a short period of time, was on the Jason Whitlock show as a contributor, and TJ is a regular contributor. I will start by saying this. Thank goodness I am no longer on that show. I thought was a blessing that I would be on that show, and quite frankly, it's a blessing that I'm no longer on that show. And there's a whole bunch of things that I found out and a whole bunch of ways that I was treated. I will save that for another day. If you follow me closely, I have a full expose that I have laid out with text messages and everything. I may bring that to the forefront and show you guys exactly what goes on at that show and how I was treated. But it's relative to TJ Moe because he created a post yesterday that, as you can see here on the screen, and this was as of about, 15 or 20 minutes ago that I posted this, 8.5 million views on one of the most disgusting comments that I have ever seen a man make in my life. I am a longtime employer, 35-year entrepreneur. I have employed hundreds of girls, ladies, women, female professionals. And this man, who is married with, I believe, 2 children, one of which is a daughter, made this comment. And if you are listening but not watching, I'm going to read through this real quick just for some context. This is with regard to Sherrone Moore, the now former University of Michigan football coach, who apparently, and I want to say apparently, allegedly, because all the facts are still coming out and it's got to play out, and I don't want to jump and put too many things to the forefront. It is alleged that he had a multi-year affair with this gal on the screen right here while he was married. It was secretive, and apparently just a few days ago, it was brought to the University of Michigan's attention, where she reached out to the university basically for help because allegedly Sherrone Moore was stalking her, and he was then fired. After he was fired, allegedly, he went to her home, and allegedly, he had been stalking her for quite some time. Maybe she wanted to end the relationship. I don't know that for sure. I don't think any of us know that for sure. Apparently, the university knew of the relationship for as many as 3 months back into September. To the degree with which he was stalking and things like that, we don't know. After he was fired and was given the reason for being fired with cause, apparently he went to her home. He was, some sort of phone call was made to the police. They got involved. He was in Saline, apparently at her house, then left and ended up in Pittsfield Township in Michigan and was apprehended at that time. It is alleged that he went to her house complaining that she ruined his life and said, and again, this is allegedly, this is what's being reported at this point. It is alleged that he said, "You have ruined my life." He grabbed a butter knife or butter knives and a scissors and was threatening to kill himself and was saying to her, "You're going to watch this." So she was his assistant in the football program. It is alleged that in the last year or so, she went from a $55,000 yearly salary to $90,000 plus dollars as a salary increase over the course basically of a year, essentially double or near double. Very unusual, right? I think we can probably read between the lines. TJ Moe came out yesterday. TJ Moe is a person who says he is a Christian, and he constantly cites Bible verses. He constantly speaks quotes of the Bible. And he decided to write this post yesterday, December 11th. You can see it there. He writes as follows: choosing a young, attractive woman as your executive assistant is a mistake. It's unwise. Sherrone Moore has a wife, 3 kids, his dream job, and claims faith in Jesus. He is not uniquely undisciplined. Many men struggle with lust. He puts himself in a compromising position. As a man, you have an obligation to protect yourself and your family, and the best way, ready for this, is never to place yourself in a situation where you might make that mistake. He put the temptation in front of him every day. Many men have and would stumble the same way in this position. Protect yourself and your family by being wise about how, it says how and who you choose to surround yourself with every day. So the implication here, what he is implying is, and what has been stated is, and I actually believe he may have went up there and edited this, because I don't think that this was the original text, now that I have reread it as of a few minutes before the show. What was there is that you should not hire an attractive assistant. This has most definitely been changed. That you should not hire an attractive assistant, and by doing so, you give yourself entry into a poor decision and a lustful decision. And his implication was you should not hire attractive women. Yes, most definitely. Well, that's there. Attractive women as your executive assistant is a mistake. A lot of it is still there. So what he is saying, and why I am so on fire about this, and I've had to really kind of tone myself down today, is because I have hired, like I said, at different points of my career for myself and for others, over several hundred females of all different ages. So and I've actually coached and or had them in my camp, had girls in my camp, basketball camps in years past. And to me, this triggered me, and it made me very, very upset. I was an equal opportunity employer. It has nothing to do with DEI, which TJ talks about with Jason Whitlock on a very regular basis. Diversity, equality, and inclusion, about how they are against it. It is a very common thread and a common topic on the show. Very anti-DEI. What I'm speaking of is not about DEI. It is about equal opportunity, and I would hire based on merit and who was most qualified for the job, whatever it was. And I have had female assistants. I have had females in C-suite level positions. I have had director of media and relations that were females. Making a decision to hire somebody or segment somebody based on how they look, and then make a decision to hire them or remove them based on their looks, is disgusting, and TJ Moe should be ashamed of himself. What he is basically telling his wife, his daughter, and anybody else around him is that you will be subjugated to decisions, or you should be, based on your looks and what you are on a scale of 1 to 10, according to him and his arrogance. And this is nothing but arrogance. I am not here to put words in his mouth. I am not here to accuse him of anything. I am here analyzing the disgusting message that he put up, and 8.5 million people have seen it, and he pinned it. He pinned it to the top of his X thread, which we all do when we want people to see something and we want to get maximum viewership. He wanted people to get maximum viewership of this post, and he got it. Anything over 1 million to 2 million in a 24-hour period by social media standards is considered viral. This is full-blown viral, 4 times as much. And this man is a business owner, and he owns franchises of what you see right there on the screen, Smoothie King. And he owns other franchises. Does he have female employees working for him? You would think so. At a Smoothie King, I would say probably 8 out of 10 or 80% of employees would be female. What must these female employees be thinking about? He mentions an executive assistant. Well, if you're hands-on as a franchise holder, you are in your businesses and there are other females there. Should they go to your rating system based on the way that they look? Should they not be hired based on a certain look or dress? And your criteria, your disgusting, chauvinistic criteria? Let me tell you this. Luke, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I know this because I coached Luke in middle school. Luke went to a Catholic elementary and middle school. Luke went to a Catholic high school. And the university in college that you went to was also Catholic. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And for me personally, from kindergarten through 8th grade, I went to a Catholic school. So we were both raised as Christians. I was supposed to go to a Catholic high school, but financing and the way that what it cost was very, very expensive. In 1986, it was $9,000 or $8,800 to go to Notre Dame High School in Harper Woods, Michigan. So I don't hide behind Bible verses. I don't hide behind a Bible. I don't use that as a layer. And I think I could speak for Luke, and we're going to get Luke's thoughts here in a moment. Because you are a Christian, and good for him if he's a Christian. But guess what? Christians don't say these types of things. You do not denigrate. 49.6% of the population are women. He basically singled them out and said that they should not be hired as executive assistants for males if they are, quote, attractive. This goes against every biblical principle that there is. If you cannot do certain things because of lust or temptation for something, then I guess we probably should never walk into a Walmart. Because when we walk into a Walmart, 90% of the grocery shelves are filled with, whoa. Luke, can you still see me? There we go. Can you see me okay, Luke?
Yeah.
90%, my screen went out there for a moment. 90% of the grocery shelves are filled with food that is not good for us. Hey, Luke, when you go and you check out at a line, what do you see on your left and what do you see on your right at the check?
Candy. And yeah. I can't. Your volume went out, I think. Mute it. You're muted.
All right. How about now? You got me?
Yep, you're good. Yep.
All right. So candy, gum, chips, all that type of thing. You have to look and find the organic stuff. So maybe you should never go into a restaurant because there's alcohol there. Never go into a casino because there's gambling there. The point is there's temptation everywhere around us in life. And he is about as weak as his name is short, T.J. Moe. That is a weak man that would say something like that. What I would venture to guess, and this is strictly a guess, he's most likely had this type of issue or temptation in his life or know somebody very close to him to come out and speak like this and insult women everywhere. I didn't think I was going to spend 20 minutes or 15 minutes on this, guys and girls, but this bothers the living daylights out of me. I mean, every HR department should see this. This should be used in every orientation around the country, the world for that matter, on exactly how not to think, on exactly how not to hire, on exactly what never to say. If I had to guess, and I'm usually pretty good at these things, At 53 years old, I've seen a lot. I think he's 35 years old, thereabouts. This will follow him for the rest of his life. And if I had to guess, this will affect his businesses. And if enough people speak out about this, he may lose his businesses. And I hope it was worth it, TJ. I hope it was worth it for you, to denigrate an entire class and gender of people. You should be ashamed of yourself, and I am embarrassed that I was on a screen right next to you talking about sports. And I'm so glad I will never be again. Luke, please, you are 26 years old. You are 27 years younger than me. You come from a different perspective and a different place. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you pretty much covered everything as far as the temptation goes. It is everywhere, and it's with everything too. So, I don't know. It's kind of a dumb thing to say. The only thing I would add that I don't think you said was taking like this approach or having that mindset towards the situation is pretty much like you're kind of saying that the women have no say. Like if Sherrone Moore wants to have an affair, the girl has no choice. Like she could have said no too. Like it's not like they have a choice too. So they shouldn't get a job because if you're tempted, that means that they're tempted too. Like they might not, I don't know. I don't like she's in the wrong too. You know what I mean?
Yes. She's no question it takes the two to do it. And this apparently went on for years, but strictly from the hiring standpoint and his comments about not to hire attractive women as an executive assistant. You're starting to do some things on your own now.
Yeah.
If and when you need to make a hire like this, do you have an idea what your thought process will be? You're a single man at 26 years old. I mean, you have a girlfriend, but you're not married. Yeah. So tell the audience how you think. What would you think?
Like we said, the temptation would probably be there. It's an afterthought, though. They're coming there for work, and they're coming for that's something you got to deal with yourself. Sit with yourself and just, I don't know, make the decision to be a good person, I guess. But what I was getting at is I don't know what I was going to say, but yeah.
I mean, are you going to look at somebody and grade them based on looks and as to whether or not you will hire them? Can you imagine yourself doing that?
To hire them, no. But I mean, I can see what he's saying as far as like he's right about the temptation and it being everywhere. And like, you do want to, like, it's a wise thing to say to look out for yourself and put yourself in position to, avoid those kind of things.
In everyday life. Like, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So but when it comes to hiring and it comes to like being a professional, that's like, imagine having a daughter and like that. So, okay, say I'm hiring, you wanted me to, if I'm hiring an attractive woman, that's like assuming that if I made a pass or something, she's a person in herself. She could say, no, this is a work relationship, so just completely Xing out that possibility is kind of, I think you said chauvinistic. I think that's the right word, but yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Even if you give in to the temptation, you're saying that the female can stop it.
Right. And this is like,
she has options.
This take by TJ Moe is saying that they don't even have that choice or that option or that say, which
interesting point.
Agree with.
Yeah, I hadn't considered it from that perspective. I was looking at it strictly from a hiring perspective, and that there's some rating scale system that says that there's some chart that you're supposed to go by to say I'm going to be tempted versus I'm not going to be tempted.
I mean,
don't hire this person.
If you're doing interviews or whatever, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you're doing interview process and someone comes in and it looks like that, when they leave, you probably think real quick, like, phew, all right, like make something small, but it's not like to the point where you have to say, I can't be around that person, or I'm gonna do something that risks my career and my whole family. Like that's too far.
Yeah, it is too far. And if you think that the person's attractive, I don't know that you should not hire the person because of that. And that's in the eye of the beholder. There are some people that, and I've seen it online, that have actually said that they believe that Sherrone Moore's wife is more attractive than this woman. So it's all in the person, right? And to what is attractive to one person is not to another. But there she is right there, actually. My apologies. She's in the picture right there holding the child. That is his wife. Some people said she's more attractive. Again, it's just a generalization, and it is a segmenting of females, and then saying that you must look a certain way in order for TJ Moe to hire you. And he's telling the world that you should have a similar scale. That's my problem with it. And it bothered the heck out of me. I mean, I started talking to my wife about it. And there's temptation in a grocery aisle. There's a temptation in a co-worker status, not just as an executive assistant. It could be a co-worker, right? It could be any form of working together or seeing somebody. And if that is in your mind, then maybe you ought to choose being single, right? Maybe you shouldn't get married and have a family. If you feel you have no control over yourself, if you are in any type of situation, whether it is by your doing or by the opposite sex doing, then maybe you ought to check yourself. That's just how I'm gonna leave that. Luke, what else? You got anything else to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, then they bring Christianity into it, and when speaking from a Christian standpoint, it's like it doesn't matter what the temptation is or how strong it is or how attractive she is. That's the Christian value is to abstain from that, like all the way. Like you say no.
Yeah,
just no.
You're the married. Same as you would. Yes, and the same as you would to say drugs. To if it's excess of gambling, you may never walk into a party store again because there's alcohol there, right? I mean, it's just like there are temptations all around us in life. That is life, right? Adam and Eve, I don't want to go into some long tangent here. It's just, it doesn't matter what it is. There's temptation. There's excess. There's obsession. And I'm not even talking about a man and a woman or lust in that way. I'm talking about it exists in our side view mirrors, in our rear view mirror, in our front windshield every day of life. And life all comes down to choices. And if you make a decision like this, or you can't hold yourself in a situation like this, maybe you ought to go work in a cubicle, or maybe you ought to work remotely from the comfort of your own dang home.
You don't you don't say vows to not do drugs or eat sweets either. You said vows, dude. Like there's another person that's
a great point. That's a great point. And if you're gaining too much weight, which I am right now, I'm not where I want to be. I need to abstain from, and I'm not a big sweets eater, but I need to abstain with certain things from certain of those things that are causing me to be heavier weight. Okay. But it's not a sin. Mm-hmm. Technically speaking, it's not a sin. That would be a
gluttony,
sin.
But yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, I'm sorry about this. I didn't mean to get off on this, but I feel bad for women everywhere that this has, man, again, what is wrong with my screen?
You're good.
All right. My screen is somehow it's automatically going into some freeze mode. Thank you for letting me know. So we'll wrap on that topic, and we'll get into to this right here. Let's see. Adam says temptation is an individual problem. It's all about having self-control. Don't blame others for your own mistakes and actions. Hold yourself accountable. Simple. Yes, absolutely, 100%. You're on point there, Adam. I couldn't agree. Whoa, shocking to hear that PB and the Fearless Fallout. Can't wait to hear your side and what you can say. Very unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. So let me we'll put this back up here, and Luke, let's jump into the Lions here and the Rams on Sunday afternoon. It's a change. They're not playing on Thursday night this week. They play on Christmas. They played on Thanksgiving and played the Cowboys on Thursday. So Rams obviously are a juggernaut. They didn't do well against Carolina a couple of weeks ago, but they redeemed themselves 45-10. I think it was against Arizona this past week. Yeah. Matthew Stafford at home, Sean McVay, the Lions and Jared Goff traveling out there. There's the reuniting of, right? Goff used to play for them. Stafford used to play for us. And the Lions got to win. The Buccaneers helped us last night. Everybody who needed to lose lost last week. What's your thoughts on the Lions going out to LA this weekend? What are you expecting?
It's a scary one. The Rams are probably the best team in football right now, and the Lions are week to week. You know, like you don't know what you're going to get from them right now. It seems like they're putting something together. They played very well versus Dallas, but who knows? Do they take a positive step this week or take a backward step? You know, so I'm hoping now would be the time to get hot. Obviously, it's do or die. So you got to hope for the best. But yeah, I don't. It's too hard for me to say I see the Rams winning just because we're Lions fans, but it's a tough win.
What type of game do you think is ahead of them? What type of flow, do you think it's going to be high scoring? Do you think it's going to be a defensive battle? Feeling each other out. What do you think?
I would definitely say shootout. I would say they're both going at each other from first drive, no feeling each other out. We've got some recent history with those guys and all too familiar, like you said, Stafford and Goff and playoff game. We played them, I feel like we played the Rams a lot recently, and it's usually a good game too. It's always a pretty good game, and this shouldn't be any different, especially the Lions are desperate.
So Stafford's playing out of his mind. Okay, this is MVP type season, the best of his career. I don't think anybody can really argue that. Kirby Joseph's out. He's not coming back anytime soon, and if he does, he may never be the same again. Deterioration in the knee. And Branch is out. Your corners are troubling. From a quarterback's perspective, and again, for those of you that don't know, Luke was a longtime high school quarterback, all-state, state champion. He played against Sauce Gardner, Dante Moore of Oregon, Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions, Ryan Hollins of the Milwaukee Bucks, and a host of others. Luke, if you're the Lions coming into this game, like how do you stop Puka on one side and Devontae on the other, Kyron Williams? You got issues defensively. The Lions can score with them. I'm confident of that. But how will they be able to stop them, number one? And the second part of the question is, what do you think McVay's game plan will be knowing that both your starting safeties are out?
So that's why I said I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the Lions, the only way the Lions are winning is outscoring. They're not going to stop Puka and Devontae Adams. To answer your question, they got to slow them down, or take chances just to try to get a turnover, try to get one big game-swinging play, and try to finish the game with the ball. But that's the same thing as the Rams, same mindset as the Rams going in. They don't have their starters or whatever. They got no names out there. They call them the Legion of Whom. And, you just go out there and sling it. Stafford, those guys, you can't expect those guys to stop Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Puka. They're going to be slinging it, and Lions just need to take a shot, some type of a corner blitz, something random, to game breaker.
Change the game, like a sudden change. But the thing with them is
down. You want your offense on the field. You have to win with your offense.
Okay,
right.
So the Lions are obviously they love to play man to man, right? You've got to be able to get home on the defensive line, all right? And they struggle to do that. And it's week to week, like you said. Some weeks they are getting more pressure. Hutchinson is more effective, and then Quadin Mohammed had this outstanding game a week ago. Davenport actually made a small impact, which is unusual. You've got to get to him. At what risk sending extra pressure and your guys out on an island, because they're not going to play zone, and your guys are on an island against this team in their building with Stafford? I mean, you got to pick the right spot, right? You got to get a little lucky too, right?
Yep, there's a lot of luck that comes into it too. And Stafford's job is to eliminate that luck and know exactly what's coming, when it's coming, and replace the blitzer with the quick slant, something, and just be ahead of whatever. He knows something's coming, right? He knows they're gonna try something that he hasn't seen on film from this Lions team, from these guys. They got something coming that they haven't done yet, and it's just his job to be ready for it. And you don't have to score. He doesn't have to. When the Lions jump at it and send something, try to make a play, Stafford doesn't need to throw an 80-yard touchdown. It needs to be check out of it into a run. It could be as simple as that. See something, check into a run, 3-yard gain. We're good. So it's on Stafford's the last guy you want to be playing against. Him and Rodgers probably to be trying to take risk on.
With all due respect to Aaron Rodgers, he's not at Stafford's level right now. I have to say that. It's a full click down.
I'm saying those
the way they can think.
Yeah. Those mental, they're geniuses, man. And if you're gonna come at them, you can't miss.
Yeah.
If you send somebody like a safety blitz or something, that could be you're trying to break the game, but he could see that and break it the other way. So,
if you're the Lions and you win the toss, are you taking the ball or are you deferring?
I'd take the ball.
See, so last week, what I thought was playing at home against Dallas. If you won the toss, I'm normally a defer guy, but I felt you had to take the ball because you were at home. You had to get the crowd into it. Mm-hmm. And there was so much tension. Were you there?
Yeah.
Did you go? Okay. Yeah. Was there tension? Was there a lot of tension in the building? In the beginning, like leading up to the kickoff, could you feel it? Was there nervousness?
Yeah, it felt like if it was definitely a must win, and it just, what do you mean by nervousness? Like, did it seem?
Could you sense? Because if they lost, it's basically over.
Yeah.
Could you sense that in the crowd that there was an anxiety or an anxious tension?
Yeah.
Like we don't know exactly what's going to happen in this week to week thing where they're up and then they're not, and they're kind of back and forth.
From the crowd, yeah, I did, and it felt like like you're sitting with your buddies or whatever, and you all have like a bet, and then you need like 2 more yards or something. That's kind of what it felt like. Everyone's like, "Come on!" Everyone's got commenting on every play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was like that, but they seemed loose though. The players seemed fine. They didn't seem fazed by the moment at all, which is exciting.
Yeah. So the point that I was making last week is I felt that there would be tension in the building. Anxiety is like, oh my gosh, if we lose this game, it's a season on the brink. The season's over. Dallas was red hot. And I felt if you won the toss, take the ball, take the tension out of the building by going right down the field and score. Well, Dallas won the toss and they deferred and gave the Lions the ball, and the Lions went right down the field. They didn't get the 6 like I was hoping, but they got the 3. Yeah. So on the road, it's situationally a little bit different. You feel take the ball, try to take their crowd out of it, and try to establish yourself right away and take the ball down the field. That's your position?
Yeah, I think you want to avoid Rams getting the ball and scoring in 5 plays. And you're like, shit. But if the Lions can put together a long drive, eat up half of the first quarter and score, but goal line handoff, something like that, it's so deflating just to – Stafford's ready to go. And if you got to make him sit for 10 more minutes just watching golf out there, throwing to open receivers, it's part of the mental game, and the crowd thing too.
So I was all over this leading up to the game last week, and I was pleading as if Dan Campbell's listening to me. I was making cuts. I don't know if you even saw them. I tagged you on them, but I was basically screaming for Dan Campbell to get creative, which he is, and line up Gibbs in the slot, which he did. And the minute you did that, in this a little bit earlier when you were way younger, but Marshall Faulk, the Rams of all teams, did that with him. The Colts did that with him. Edgerrin James did a little bit. Jahmyr Gibbs is just on the level that you want him in space. And you want and I was talking about J-Mo in space, Gibbs in space. You've got to give the ball to them, and you've got to let them do their thing. And one of the ways to do that, being down Laporta, is, hey, what's up, 1224? He says, hey, PB and Luke. And actually, let me put this on the screen so people could see it. Did you feel like that was effective enough that you should continue doing that this week?
Yeah,
line him in the slot.
Yeah, when you have, actually, my dad of all people, he knows he's a lineman. You know, he doesn't really know too much about
the skilled positions
or anything. Yeah, but he called me while I was working earlier, and he said, "What do you think about this?" And he told me, Gibbs or I'm at St. Brown and JMO on the outsides, have them run across, and have Gibbs in the middle, sit down in the middle, and like pick which way he wants to go. He's like, "Do you think that would work?" I was like,
"Yeah, they call that a stick route."
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they probably ran that. I don't know. I told him they do that. They did that, but with him out of the backfield, he ran the little Texas angle route, and they beat that up. They hit that probably 5 times versus the Cowboys. Just Gibbs on that little angle route out of the backfield, and that's enough. That's enough to. You're not going to guard him man to man. There's not a linebacker in the league that can guard him man to man.
No.
So lining him up on the outside, you can, stretches the defense and gives him more space, but it also is almost unnecessary, I think, because when you put him out there, like a safety's guarding him, which has a better chance than a linebacker out of the backfield, you know?
Why do you say it's unnecessary? You're saying it's unnecessary to put him out there?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Why?
To mix it up is a good thing, but I think if you're putting him out there in the slot, you're going to have a safety guarding him who guards receivers all game. But if you have him in the backfield, you need 4 yards. You can just run him out of the backfield. It's going to be a linebacker on him who has zero chance of guarding him if Goff has time to, if Gibbs has time to get out of a break or something, there's not a linebacker in the league that's guarding him, So
you're saying in that scenario, if you need 4 yards, or you're looking to impact the game? That's where I'm talking.
I'm saying getting him the ball in space is very easy if he's coming out of the backfield and someone's got a linebacker on him man to man.
Got it.
It's one cut and he's got all the space he wants
and all the speed he needs.
Yeah, he's good to go. And they've been killing that. He's been I don't know the numbers on it, but that little
it's a lot
out of the backfield. It looks like a slant, but it's so good. It's been killing everybody.
I believe he had. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Times guaranteed. That's their best play right now.
I think he had 7 for 72 off the top of my head without having it in front of me. I mean, it's 7 catches to your running back. That sounds like a lot, but that you have to do that. You have to give him that opportunity, because one might be 4 yards, but one might be 40 yards. And you're stretching them constantly. They're running sideline to sideline with him. He could do that all day. A linebacker or a safety can't do that all day. Or they can try, but he's going to gas them.
Well, that's another thing too, is like, that's why I said mixing it up's good, because if you're going down the field and you got a safety running step for step with Jameson Williams for 5 plays in a row, and then he comes out and now he's up on Gibbs, like he's toast. He's toast. He's burnt out, and Gibbs can take advantage of that. But it's the game within the game, and I would definitely mix it up, like you said, put him out in the slot. But I like him out of the backfield personally.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. So you got a score for us? We'll get to them in a little bit, but you got a score for our peeps here?
For the Lions?
Yeah, for the game.
Yeah. Give me.
You want to think on that a little bit till we get to the picks?
No, because the more I think about it, yeah, give me Lions 32, Rams 28.
32. Where'd you come up with that number? That's
know.
A really odd number.
Yeah. That's the Lions.
You got a safety mixed in there. You got a few field goals mixed. I hope there's not field goals. They're not going to be able to win this game on field goals. They need 6, and they need every extra point. I hear you. That's a freaky combination over there. You need a couple of field goals mixed in there to get to that number. All right, guys, at the top of the screen, the upper. Yeah, oh yeah, it's happened. In the top corner of the screen there, is a QR code. When you scan that QR code, it'll take you right to our YouTube page. Please smash the subscribe button there. If you are watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook right now, the number one place to find all our material, to find all the free picks, which are still going on, that all goes up on X, and it already started. I had 3 picks up there for, let me just show you guys this and just give you an idea of what I mean. Right here, these picks are going out daily. 31-18 runs, 63% winning in the last 49 games, 3-3 last night, and barely missed a 4-2 after the Bucks blew a 28-14 lead, which will lead us into the next part here, and then we'll get to Michigan after that. But I felt like it was really interesting, Luke. And you know us coaches, we can get emotional. And Luke played for me, guys. If you're new to the show and don't know that, Luke played a year for me, plus AAU and plus off-season training under my tutelage or guidance, whatever you want to say it. What Todd Bowles said after the game, after they blew that, Luke, he basically told them it's on the players, and you got to F and do this, and you got to F and do that. He was really frustrated, and I'm, from a coach's lens and perspective, I'm always looking at the coach. I'm looking at their body language, and I could see him showing emotion, which he's an emotionless guy. He doesn't say much, really quiet. He got, pretty angry in the post-game presser. What are your thoughts on some of the things he said and how he went after his team?
I think it's just, I don't know. Do you want to read too much into it or not? But he's, like you said, he's emotionless, so something's going on. They were, what they start the season out as? They were like hot, weren't they? They were like 4-0.
That's your guy, Baker Mayfield, man.
Yeah. Oh, he was killing it, but they were like 4-0, I think.
Yeah, they had a ton of injuries, and then they kind of got a little bit sideways.
Second place, like they had, it's just probably feels like it's slipping away, and like a game slipped away in the process of the season slipping away. Like I'm not mad at him for it. Like,
in a game they were in full control with 7 minutes left or so, 7-8 minutes left. You're up 14 points.
They were in full control of their season when they were 4-5-0. That's fallen apart, and just cherry on top is they're full control of a game. Maybe we're gonna get back on the right track here, and then they lose that too. It's like a double whammy, frustration, and I don't know.
Mike Evans was super frustrated, and there was 2 reasons. Did you watch the game?
Kind of.
So yeah. Mike Evans went out for a ball, and he got undercut. This was like in the second quarter after he already had 3 catches. Mm-hmm. And he got kind of torpedoed underneath, and he fell all the way on his back, and his neck basically bent backwards, and he's coming off collarbone or clavicle. And he's always injured. He's been injured basically so much in his career, hamstrings, all sorts of things. So he was frustrated about that. But after the game, or actually during the game, he was shaking his head. Then he was going down the tunnel to go to the locker room, and he was visibly upset. So you said something's going on. Do you think something?
I think you muted. You might have muted yourself. I didn't hear you.
Me now.
Yep.
Luke?
Did you say? Yep, I hear you now.
You got me now?
Yep.
All right. So what I was saying is, you heard the part about Mike Evans, and he got torpedoed, and he fell kind of like on his upper back and his.
Yeah, you said.
And his upper back and his neck. He was really frustrated.
Yeah.
But then when they were coming off the field and he was going down the tunnel, he was, mouthing something, like not to any person, but I think it's frustration. Earlier, you said something's probably going on. Do you think it's just a result of Todd Bowles and Mike Evans being frustrated, or you think there's something underlying there?
No, I think it's probably a whole locker room thing. Everyone's frustrated, I'm sure. Baker especially, he was like MVP favorite, and now he's not playing well. And I don't know. It's a slippery slope, like everyone's probably pissed off, and it's bad vibes in the locker room, and everyone's probably just pissed off and tight, and and then like I've been in that situation before too, where it's you have a bad week of practice, or everyone's just fighting and you're not getting along with your team or whatever. But in the game, it's working, you're winning or whatever, and then you lose, and everything just comes to a head, and it's like, yeah, players only meeting time, like stuff like that. So
home game, must win. They got Tristan Wirfs back. They got McMillan back. They got Evans back. You're up 14. It's late in the game. You've been struggling offensively, but you moved the ball pretty well. And it's like you held Atlanta down a bit, and Cousins was playing well, but you lost it, and you might have lost your season, and that's probably what's coming out. And you work your ass off, right? And then you get in those moments, and you work to get in those moments, and then you don't seize the moment. Kind of like the Lions in the NFC game a couple of years ago. You bust your butt, man, and that tastes bad. That's really sour, a sour feeling. So we'll see how they respond to it and what comes of it from here. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. All right, Luke. So let's get into this Michigan controversy.
Do they have a bye? Or buys are
all
done,
the
right?
yeah, the buys are all done.
Last week, right?
Yeah. Yes. So let's get into this Michigan conversation here. Obviously, we talked about earlier what Sherrone Moore is accused of doing. What are your thoughts about the fact that he was hired when he was hired? Do you believe, like, if you can just take what we just learned, put that aside, based on how the team was performing, and after Harbaugh left, that he was given the job? Looking back in hindsight, do you think that that was the right decision?
No, I didn't like the hire from the beginning.
At the time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't like it. I've always been like, we should have opened up the doors a little bit to, see who's out there, see who. I didn't. Sherrone Moore is an Oklahoma guy too, so that's the only reason I was kind of like, that's kind of cool, Oklahoma and Michigan. But yeah, I didn't like it. Still don't like it. Obviously, I don't think he was the right fit. I didn't like how he coached or acted when Harbaugh was like suspended and he was the interim coach. Kind of.
What about the way he acted?
He just doesn't seem like he's not a guy that I want to play for. Like his post game interviews and stuff. I didn't like the way he talked and the way he just rubbed me the wrong way. And
Can you give our audience an idea of what he might have said or the way he might have said that would make you not want to play for him?
So for starters, I'm being a little judgmental here, but I'm just talking about kind of the eye test, him coming up and talking. I didn't like it, but that's obviously personal preference.
Arrogance? Did you notice arrogance?
It felt fake. It felt very like theatrical, and he was like crying, and it wasn't really like he was crying, and I was like, I just didn't like it. And also, the play calling when Harbaugh was out, it was like our starting quarterback was out. It was weird. Like we ran the ball like 50. Like JJ McCarthy was good. He was good, and we were going to the playoffs. And I think it was Iowa or Penn State or something. We ran the ball every play.
Harbaugh was doing a lot of that too. That is the Harbaugh way. He will run 3/4 of the time if he can.
Yeah, but if he can, and more just he was forcing it, and I didn't like this year the leash he had on Underwood. I didn't like that at all from the beginning.
Do you think it's a development issue? Do you think he has not been coached correctly?
I don't think
Underwood.
Yeah, I don't think he's been coached correctly at all.
If
talent's there. I think he's beyond talented. He's beyond good enough to be good in the Big Ten, or hopefully he stays. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be very good.
As an all-state quarterback, former all-state quarterback and a state champion that you were, if it was you, with everything that just happened with Sherrone Moore, would you stay or look to get out? Transfer.
I'd stay.
Strictly not a fan. As a player, if you could put that helmet on,
I would stay.
What would you do? Why?
I would stay just because maybe, I don't know if he's the same way as I am, but the way I'm wired, it's like with everything going on and all the negative shit. I don't know if I can swear on here. All the stuff
That's
that's
fine.
going on in Michigan, and he grew up a Michigan fan, which I know put that aside, but all the bad news and stuff, like staying and winning for Michigan would just be that much more special. Like with everything, it's just been bad news, bad seasons, all for the last 3-4 years or 2 years. Because we won it 3 years ago, but even that year, even the year they won it, it was tainted. There was just all this stuff going on. There hasn't been a break.
Which
The
leads
only
me
time
to
there was
this.
a break was when we weren't winning any games for that year.
Which leads me to this point, Luke. If you're him and you're in your coming out of your freshman year, there's no red shirt, which he probably should have been red shirted. If you're being totally honest, they probably should have sat him. I think that there's at least an argument or a debate that could be made for that. He clearly was not coached correctly. They want to enter him into some camps or something. That's what the first year was about. He had no guidance. If you ask me, he probably regressed or stayed the same. I don't think that there was any type of significant improvement. Would you agree with that? When you look at him at the end of the year, do you say, wow, man, he really evolved or he really developed?
He didn't take a leap, if that's what you're saying. There was no leap.
Yeah, if you're a quarterback at the University of Michigan and that's a big program and you're starting at the beginning of the year, you better be able to say that at the end of the freshman year, in my opinion. There needs to be at that level. This is not, like some small obtuse school, out playing in a field someplace. This is the University of Michigan. You're supposed to put them in a position to succeed.
Speaking of, that's another reason I'd stay is they got the best receiver that they've had in probably a long time. I think Andrew Marsh, he was a freshman this year.
Yeah.
He was the number one receiver, best receiver on the team. And he was like 18. He'll be back. And then Jordan Marshall will probably be a Heisman favorite at running back. Like they're going to be good next year.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you to take your fan hat off again. Think about this strictly from a player's perspective. You had all the drama with Harbaugh. You come into Sherrone more. There has clearly been a cover-up at the University of Michigan. This has been known for as much as 3 years. It has at minimum been known since September. Warde Manuel is apparently going to be left in position to make the next hire. There were massive problems with Harbaugh and then, of course, with Sherrone Moore. These are the two largest scandals in the University of Michigan's football program history, bar none. This goes against everything that the Big Block M ever was. You've grown up around it, and I grew up around it. This is not the University of Michigan at any level. Right. How, as a player, can you have confidence knowing what we just talked about has happened with the whole Harbaugh debacle and the Connor Stallions lies, and the dude goes and makes a Netflix special, and he's up there on X, and he's commenting about all this stuff. It's like, dude, just go away. You're a big part of the problem. Right. And then you come out of Harbaugh and you hire this man. Clearly, if this has been she has admitted this was going on for 3 years. The question is, did Michigan know it for 3 years? She said 3 years. So there's a character issue there. It's running rampant in your university. How can you, as Bryce Underwood, think that this is the place where your team and your future is in the best hands when they didn't screw up once, but they screwed up again in a worse way?
Yeah, it's like, no, I hear you and I agree. And I think that what I'm trying to say is put the Superman cape on, Bryce Underwood. Put it on and win games. Like, that fixes everything. If they get a coach next year, go undefeated, win national championship, it's like everything falls into place. No one's talking about
that's not happening. There's the fan in you, bro. That is not happening. They are not winning the national. They're not winning the national.
Hypothetically, though, would that?
Well, that's a hell of a hypothetical, man. I'll bet you whatever dinner you want. I mean, we could do whatever you want. They will not be national champions next year. No chance.
I'll bet you they make the playoffs.
And by the way, they lost 2 major recruits, and if I'm not mistaken, Marsh has been talked about. More. Yeah, and they just lost, I believe it was another offensive lineman decommitted. And if I'm not mistaken, there's talk about Marsh.
You might be thinking about Michigan State's Marsh.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think you're right. That's my fault. That's my fault.
Yeah,
if I'm
he's
a
good too.
University of Michigan player, I am looking in the mirror and I'm sitting down with my closest advisors. They have agents now, their family, and I am legitimately thinking about leaving the University of Michigan. I do not see why any one of these players would want to play for this university right now. There is nothing being done that should convince them that the university is on the right path. In my opinion, and this comes with my age, I'd like to think some of the wisdom that comes with it and running and building organizations. How can Warde Manuel be in charge of this next hire? That tells me that nothing has changed. Now, if the regents, the board of regents, and everybody else gets together and they remove him and say, hey, we're going to put together a committee and we're going to hire the best man, then I would feel more confident if I was a fan, which I'm no longer of Michigan. If they hire Marcus Freeman, I'm coming back. You all know this.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Yes, I can do that. Marcus Freeman will rebuild that program basically overnight and reestablish character to that program. Jim Harbaugh lacked the character. Sorry. He got you a national championship. But now what? Look at what
called being a fair weather fan.
No, man. If you lived what I lived through with Bo Schembechler and Anthony Carter and Butch Woolfolk and all of those guys, Mark Mesner, Scarcelli, Hammerstein, all those players from the 80s, 90s, before you were even born. This is so against the norm. And I'm not the Michigan man. I don't believe in that theory. Again, merit. If it was Nick Saban, he coached at Michigan State, but if it was a Michigan man or not a Michigan man, I don't agree with the Michigan man stuff. But there was a respectability. And now they're the laughing stock of college football. They are not considered anywhere close to what they were.
But where you stand right now is like, when you're saying you're coming back, if it gets turned around, you want it to get turned around. You want to be a fan again.
No, I didn't say that. Nope. If they remove, I have not cared. I have not cared about what Michigan did since that 4 years, the last 4 years of Harbaugh and through the Sherrone Moore years. In fact, with Harbaugh, I rooted against them. I'm admitting it right now. The only thing that will get me to change, honestly, the only thing that will get me to change is if they remove Warde Manuel, because he has no ability to make this hire. Zero.
What if Warde Manuel hires Marcus Freeman?
That's a good question. That's a real good. First of all, if I'm Marcus Freeman, I don't leave Notre Dame to come to Michigan. Why would I? No. If it's Kalen DeBoer, and I put a poll out, and it was 63% that said that Alabama was a better job than Michigan. Why would any one of those top level coaches want to come to the University of Michigan? Honestly, why would you? Huh?
I would rather be at Michigan than Alabama if I was DeBoer.
Why? Tell me why. There's your homer hat again. Why do you think that? You're in a perennial power, Alabama. You're in the playoffs right now. You're not long removed from multiple national championships. Why would you do that?
Yeah,
because of Nick Saban?
There's that, and it depends what you want. What does he want? Does he want to be legendary or whatever? Then he'd probably want to not be in Nick Saban's shadow. But my first thought why I said that was because they lost one game, and Alabama was saying, we need to pay it was like the craziest
to get rid of him.
Money. And they're like, burn him at the stake. And
I was one of them. I was, and then I owned it, and I said, boy, he did a really nice job of turning them around.
Yeah,
and then
slow down. Hold on.
And they got housed against Georgia with no backfield, right? Jam Miller was out, and the other guy was out. I mean, you're playing with a half a deck. I understand. But he pulled the ship together. I just don't understand why somebody at a major university like Notre Dame or him would come there. Now, Dillingham over at Arizona State, I could see something like that. If it was Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss to make that move and LSU wasn't in the picture, I could see that. A smaller job to a bigger job, I could see. But I don't view the University of Michigan football job as a bigger job than Alabama or Notre Dame. You could argue equal, but I don't think it's superior.
Yeah, I would say they're on the same. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I wouldn't say it's less just because there's a lot of factors that go into it. You gotta Alabama had the hardest strength of schedule in college football this year. Michigan, you got to win 2 big games and you're in the playoffs. Or one.
Yeah. And so since I mentioned Lane Kiffin and you were not around last week or the week before, I was very vocal about the whole Lane Kiffin situation. I have, lots of clips out there, et cetera. What were your thoughts on how that all went down with Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, the way it was handled, and then eventually taking the LSU job?
Honestly, I didn't even follow it that much. I know it was catch me up. What did he do?
So as an OSU fan, Marcus Freeman needs to stay in ND. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. 12-24. You're absolutely right about that. So
that's where he went, right? He played there.
I'm not positive on that. To be honest with you.
He's Ohio State linebacker, I'm pretty sure.
So as far as Lane Kiffin, in the weeks leading up to the decision, he was toying with the job, and LSU's job was open. Obviously, they fired Brian Kelly quite a few weeks before that, and you're getting down to the end of it. You had the Florida job open, you had the LSU job open. Both, I think he piqued their interest and they piqued his interest. It was mutual, and then it kept on going on, and it was this 800-pound gorilla in the room, and he was non-decisive. And I can understand why he was. They were in a playoff run in terms of getting to the playoffs, secure that. And he kept on waiting and putting it off. And then things got a little contentious behind the scenes. And then it was, we're going to announce this right after the Egg Bowl. So they had to play Auburn. And if they won or they had to play Mississippi State, me. And then depending on what happened in the Auburn game, would determine if they were going to be in the playoff or not in the playoff, et cetera. So he came out and he announced that he was going to take the LSU job. Everybody got mad at him because here goes Lane Kiffin again. Well, Lane Kiffin is the second winningest by percentage, 1% point down from the all-time winningest coach, 74% and 73%. His name escapes me. He coached for 30 years or so back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And Lane Kiffin, 6 years, obviously has him in the national championship playoff. If you ask me, LSU job is a much bigger job than Ole Miss. And it's one you can't pass up. So if your team is about to win a national championship and LSU says, hey, man, you got to make a decision. Time's running out. Candidates are being selected. We need an answer. Recruiting, signing day, all of this stuff going on. We don't have a face of our program. Should Ole Miss, which he asked for, and other teams have done it, he wanted to finish the year with Ole Miss, and LSU was going to allow that to happen. Ole Miss said no. A bunch of assistants are going with Lane Kiffin to LSU. They got on the plane with him, Charlie Weiss Jr. being one of them. 5 or 6 of them. Ole Miss has allowed them to come back and coach, but they will not allow Lane Kiffin to head coach. They said, no way, no can do. In your opinion, number one, what is Lane Kiffin supposed to do in that situation when that job gets offered and it's a bigger job? Forget his background. And I don't agree with everything the guy has done. He's got a job like that, and you need to give an answer. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, is there an option to tell LSU yes, I'm going to take it, but let's keep it low key for a little while?
That's kind of underhanded, but he tried to say, hey, let's announce that I'm taking the LSU job. LSU's giving me the permission to stay with Ole Miss. Let's finish this out, what we started. Yeah. And then at the end of the year, I am an LSU coach. Well, I'm an LSU coach in waiting. Ole Miss said, no, you won't do that. You're either the Ole Miss coach or you're the LSU coach. It's an impossible position based on the way the scheduling is of college football.
Right. Yeah. That's a tough spot. But I think Ole Miss is wrong. I think that's his team. That's his recruits. That's program he built. Not built, but you know what I mean. He
built it. If you look at the record,
level,
look at the record in the 15 to 20 years prior to him getting there and what he did with 4 seasons over 10 wins and what he did for that program, put them on the map, a top 10 team going to the playoff. That's Lane Kiffin.
Who are you to they could win a championship.
Yeah, well, they're not, and I don't think they're good enough to. Even if he still was the coach, they've got some flaws on that team that I
Yeah.
don't think they can play with, like with Georgia and a few of the others. But it's like it's a really tough call. He had to make a decision, and I don't know.
Yeah, if
It,
I'm
it's
Ole Miss, I'm letting him coach. If I'm Ole Miss, I'm asking him, please coach. don't. Yeah, take the job. Whatever, we understand. Just don't leave yet.
they feel like I think it was a big deal with his background and what he did with the Raiders in Tennessee and USC, and he's here and then he's gone. He was there 6 years and he rebuilt the whole program. They are in the national championship. There's people that helped it, but they're in the national championship playoffs because of what Lane Kiffin did. He's a hell of a coach, and he just delivered basically. And my feeling on Jackson Dart, a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. That's Lane Kiffin developing that guy. And I have put this on in one of the PB predictions. This is the newest one. He will win at least 2 national championships with LSU. Now, if you are the best player in the world or one of the top 10 people in the world, unless you're tied to the area of Ole Miss, which is like 340 miles, the schools are like 300 or so miles away from each other. So they're relatively close. But aside from you having a family member or something there, or it being in the lineage of your family, your parents went there or something, if you're a top athlete in the world, you going to Ole Miss or you going to LSU?
Well, yeah, LSU.
Not academics, strictly from a football standpoint.
I would go to Ole Miss, but I know what you're saying. The recruits would go to LSU.
You would go to Ole Miss?
I can't stand LSU. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to just
no, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
remove the personal feelings about it and just from I'm going to win. This is the program that gives me the best chance to compete for national championships, and where some of the greatest players in the world go. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I mean, you can go all the way down Neighbors. You can go Jaden Daniels over and over and over. Ole Miss doesn't develop those guys. They don't go to that school. Even with Lane Kiffin.
It was more like 50-50. Where's this kid going to go? Now it's like 100-0. Like, you're obviously going to LSU.
With Kiffin gone, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Kiffin and LSU.
Right.
So
that's
crazy. That's another reason to keep him there. If you're Ole Miss, keep him there for these playoffs, because you're probably not going to be back for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy stuff. All right.
Froze. You froze.
There we go. You got me?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've watched him and looked at some of the evolution of the Browns and that. And PB prediction alert. This one really caught me off guard. Wow, Adam says. I didn't say the next 2 years. I said that it's going to be 2 national championships. So let me just make sure that that's clear. And 1224 says for football, it's definitely LSU. So LSU over Ole Miss is what he's saying.
I agree.
So it's funny, Oklahoma you love, LSU you hate. You got like these prerequisite, feelings on these guys. Maybe you don't. Next thing you know is like you don't like the color of their uniforms or something, or the way the field looks.
No, I love it. We wore LSU's jerseys. We had De La Salle was LSU jerseys. We had their exact.
Pretty much. Yeah, the numbers, the way the numbers were carved is that type. They got a little bit different number.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. The arch.
GLS, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you would think you would love them. You won a state championship basically wearing their uniforms. Yellow and purple. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to force you. Shedeur Sanders. What's your thoughts now? 3 games. He's played the Raiders and Tennessee that are 2-11 each, so 4-22, and lost those games. Or excuse me, they beat the Raiders. Lost to I'm sorry, they beat Tennessee. Lost. Which is it? I got it mixed up.
They lost to Tennessee.
What's that? Yeah, they lost. Yeah, okay. And they played the 49ers, and the 49ers at 9-4 beat them up pretty good.
Yeah, and he didn't look good versus 49ers. My thoughts are the same as they've always been. I think the way the media is about Shedeur makes me want him to do bad. Like makes me want to not like him just because he threw that screen pass and went for like 70 yards or whatever. My timeline lights up. Like they act like I'm his brother or something. I don't know why. I don't even click on it. But my timeline is just without the video either. Just Shedeur Sanders 70-yard touchdown, perfect timing. I'm like, really? Like what happened? I text my friends like, dang, was it a good ball? Like it was a screen pass.
Yeah, 6 yards, 5 yards.
Yeah, it was behind the line of scrimmage. It was but his like 400-yard game. I'm gonna sound like a hater, but his 400-yard game, it was like a lot of yards after catch. Like there was.
I'm gonna give you the number. It was 374, 376. He threw for right about that. That number I'm a little bit unsure about, but the actual number the yak yards was 260.
Yeah, that's insane. That is
260. Nuts. That's 2/3 of his yards were yards after catch. Now he makes the nice throw to Judy over the middle, but he's got a great pocket. And, this is a normal route. He was wide open. You're playing Tennessee. Yeah. They can't cover you if you're running. No offense. Right. But it's he just basically, he just had to throw the ball over the middle and Judy catches it and he runs.
Yeah.
For 60.
Yeah. I'm not impressed. I'm just like, it's to the point. So I'll just say this, and I'm going to sound maybe a little arrogant here, but
no, say it.
It's to the point right now, I think, that I already know how this ends. I already know he's not good. I already know something's going to happen. He's going to go on a streak of being terrible. I'm not, praying on his downfall or anything, but it's like we're just prolonging it with him playing well or hitting slant routes against the worst teams in the league. And people are like, oh, see, we told you he's going to be this, he's going to be that. And like, he's not. So to that point, I'm always predicting, and I'd love to, I don't want to force you into a prediction, but you say we already know what's going to happen. So what do you see coming when this is all done? Because they've announced him as the starter for the rest of the year. They're going to have very high draft pick next year. What do you see? I think they get a quarterback, trade Shedeur for something. They want him to, be valuable. I think that's what I said before. Like, they want to sell him high. So it's kind of, honestly, I would bench him now while the market's kind of hot on him. And then
listen to the stockbroker over here. I actually agree with you. Don't let him get exposed against some of the better teams.
He's going to play Chicago now.
And they're not a great defense either, but they're better than Tennessee and the Raiders.
I think the Bears, I know we need the Browns to win. The Bears are going to blow them out, I think.
Think so?
I think so, yeah. That run game is nasty in Chicago.
Yes, it is. That is a legit two-headed monster. Yeah. We still have the albatross known as Deshaun Watson. That's what 1224 says. And Tupac Shedeur, which is a Jason Whitlock line, is about to get buried in the snow this weekend, is what Adam says. I you know what, Luke? I'm just gonna so I put this up, his post, and I got heat for it. I put his post up and I said, you saw it for 1 week and 1 week only, right? I think I put it only in capital. Please, Shedeur Sanders, play your best game so you beat Chicago for the Lions' sake, not because I've changed my position and some guy comes in, and they start pulling my posts and copy. This is from the guy that said this and this.
That was the lowest IQ comment section I've ever seen in my life. They're like getting on you. They're like, nope, you can't be a fan now. It's like,
right.
Read it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a fan. I'm trying to get the Lions into the playoffs.
I was reading it like he's like so frustrated right now. Like one, they're not getting you, and two, you're like, no, I'm not a fan. So I don't know.
That was funny. You know what? I could see a scenario. It would not shock me if they go into Chicago and somehow win, because I don't think the Bears are that good. Honestly, I know a lot of people disagree with that. They've gotten very fortunate, and Caleb Williams is still a problem. And, Myles Garrett's going to be all over the place. And I don't think they can stop him. And, I could just see it happening where this guy comes out, they go to Chicago, they win, not expected to, and then, he's the king. He's legendary. I could totally see that happen. I'm going to be rooting for it for 1 week. To be clear again, 1 week, please be legendary. Make your sign as many times as you want.
There's
no way?
There's no way.
So Browns, you think he is not on the Cleveland Browns next year?
No. But as we've been saying the whole year, it is the Browns. Should he be? For their sake, no. Will he be? Who knows?
So Cleveland. if you're the Browns, he says no. We need a higher draft pick, 12-24. So if you're the Browns, would you target Mendoza? Do you have him number one on your quarterback board?
I gotta look at it more before I answer that. I don't think so though. I don't think so. I don't really like him, to be honest with you.
What don't you like about Mendoza?
Did you see his interview after the Ohio State game?
Yeah, I did. I didn't think that was bad.
I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't. I could see what he was. I could see what he was trying to do.
What was he trying to do?
He's just trying to be fired up, and he's trying to say how much it means to the team, and the part where he's like half crying and half yelling. That what you're talking about?
It was so cringy, dude.
Yeah, it was maybe a little bit cringy, but it was authentic. I'll give it that.
Authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. 12-24 says Luke thinks it's corny. Yeah, he does.
He said, "Well, oh my god, I can't even repeat it." But he's like, I watched it 12 times just laughing because I thought it was so funny.
I thought it was authentic. I thought it was authentic. I really did. And he's well spoken. That's a little bit different. But hey, Cignetti's different.
You're gonna. This guy's supposed to go lead grown men in the locker room on a Sunday. I don't know,
dude. He's just emotional. He was being emotional in the moment, which me. And I just said it about Justin Herbert again. Stop interviewing these guys before, during, and after games. Stuff like that's going to happen. Emotions are flying. Let the guy be. All right. So you think ultimately?
I think it's a weak quarterback draft. I don't think there's a. I think it's pretty weak.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the best ever. It was supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. But didn't work out so well. All right, Luke, let's get to the picks here, and then we'll get this wrapped for everybody on their Friday night. All right, Jets and Jaguars, you take the first board here, Luke, and maybe tell a little bit of the reason why you feel the way you do.
I got Jags minus 13.5.
I got to get my handy dandy little sheet here because I'm going to whoop your ass again. Yeah, that's why you left for 10 weeks, because I'm too good at this.
All right, we'll see. I'm always texting you what was the score? And you're like, I don't know.
They didn't name me PB picks for nothing. Come on now.
All right, let's see. We'll do this one then. We'll talk about it.
Get down. Go ahead. You got Jacksonville minus 13.5?
Jacksonville minus 13.5. Yes. I keep getting burned on. I say, that's too big of a spread. Jacksonville's at home. Jacksonville is a good team. Trevor Lawrence is my guy. They win by more than 2 touchdowns.
All right.
I got it's out of order again. I was on FanDuel too. But all right, Cardinals, Texans. I got Texans minus 9.5, another big one. They looked great last week. And Arizona looked horrible. So that one's don't be cute. That one's pretty simple, I think. Bills, Patriots. I'm taking the Bills in a pick 'em. They had a stumble mid-season, the Bills, but I'm not convinced that it's the Patriots division yet. I think it's still Josh Allen's. I think he shows that on Sunday. He's not handing it over to Drake May. The Bills win handsomely, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Give me the Chiefs versus the Chargers. Covering. That's my squad, and they were really shit the bed this year. So just I don't know. They got something to prove, and they might lay an egg or they might come out hot, and who knows. Raiders Eagles. What did I do here?
It's probably because I pulled this from a desktop and you pulled it from the phone.
I did it on my phone, yeah. I went Eagles minus 8.5 or 11.5. Yeah, same thing. Eagles minus 11.5 at home. They're bullies. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat and lose to the teams that, you know how it goes. They're going to bully.
Well, we have a lot that we disagree on here, so this would make for great theater. Jets plus the 13.5 against the Jags is just a lot of points. And Aaron Glenn's doing some things over there, just as I predicted. He's building something over there. He doesn't have a lot of people. Jacksonville's actually turned it up. I think they're 9-4 now. And they're definitely going to win the game, but I think the Jets will keep it respectable. So I got the Jets plus the 13.5. Arizona and the Texans, we agree there. The Texans are too powerful, too strong defensively. I got the Texans minus the 9.5. The Bills and Patriots, we disagree. I got the Pats plus the 1.5, which is really crazy line right there. Plus 1.5 again at home against Buffalo. That's really interesting, but I'm taking the Pats plus 1.5. Chargers, this is a tough one for me because this is it for the Chiefs. I mean, I keep saying that every week. It's win or you're done. Mathematically, they're not eliminated. The Chargers and Omari and Hampton, that makes a huge difference to that team. Herbert was nails on Monday night. Really great to see, or was that Sunday night? Whichever it was. It was great to see him man up like that. Guy was just taking his body and putting it in harm's way. And then Laura Rutledge, the ESPN reporter, goes and grabs his arm to try to get the comment from him, and she grabs him right on his left arm. He's got blood all over his arm, and he's got a broken left hand or something in his hand. Yeah, broken. And she's grabbing it. Anyways, I'm going to take the Chargers plus 5.5 on this. I have to do it. That's just too many points. Raiders too. They are a much better team without Chip Kelly. It's not shown all the way through, but they're improving without him. And the Eagles are kind of a mess. And 11.5 points is a lot. So I got the Raiders plus the 11.5. All right, let me get the next board up here.
4. Disagreed on 4. All right. All right. I know I went Bengals here. Bengals plus 2.5 at home. Joe Burrow's back. And in that division, if you're favored, you lose. So there you go. That division is a mess. But Burrow actually looked pretty good until the last 2 minutes of the game last week. And I'm not impressed with I haven't been impressed by the Ravens once this year. I went
Commanders and Giants.
Yep, I went. Give me Giants. Giants by a field goal or more. We talked about this one a lot already, but I'm taking the Bears minus 7.5. I think that's easy. Yeah. 49ers
Titans in Frisco.
Yeah, 49ers covering the big one. I'm no longer scared of the big ones. Pause. No longer shying from the big spreads. I think Frisco handles their business at home. And then give me the Lions plus 5.5. That's a homer pick. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to Lions money line.
Okay. I'm with you on the Bengals. By the way, Joe Burrow, it appears he's not happy there. Did you see the comments the other day? He seems really unhappy, and he's got a lot of people talking, a lot of people interested in that. Dan Orlovsky came out today, I think it was, and said he can't imagine a scenario where the Raiders, I forget who the 3 teams were, but the Raiders were one of them, that don't aggressively make a play for him. This is what he said today. So I actually think he's frustrated, and they can't stop anybody. And they don't really have to worry about that with the Ravens because Lamar Jackson's terrible. You know what I've said about that. I will take the Bengals plus the 2.5. Giants minus 2.5 over the Commanders. It's just been a mess for them. As much as I want to see Cleveland somehow pull an upset against the Bears, I don't think it's realistic, nor do I think it's realistic to think that they're going to keep it inside the 7.5. So that's the Giants. and then it's the Bears, and then San Francisco minus the 12.5. I really have no doubts about that. Tennessee's very, very bad. And then I'm with you. I'm taking the Lions plus the 5.5 on the road. Look at that minus 118, which indicates that the line may go higher. And that just seems strong to me. Like that's Vegas talking right there. They're moving it. It may go to 6. We shall
probably
see.
Will. Probably will.
All right, one last screen here. Let me get this up. All right.
All right. I went Panthers. Saints. I've watched the Saints a couple times this year, and it just doesn't look good. And the Panthers, they play sometimes. They're a really good team sometimes.
Dude, they're 7-5.
Yeah, but I don't know. They can play, and
meaning they're playing well. No, I'm saying the way they started, they're actually playing very well.
They feel like they're 5-7. Like I don't know why, but that spread is weak. I would take 2.5 all day. I would probably take 5.5.
So you got Panthers minus 2.5.
Packers Broncos.
Hell of a game.
Yeah, hell of a game. I'm going with the home team, Broncos. At home, and we need for the Lions.
I think Green Bay is out of reach for us. I really do.
Yeah, probably, but
the division.
F you anyways. Colts Seahawks. I'm going Colts.
Riley Leonard style, or are you thinking Phillip Rivers is going to get in there? Phil.
I do like Riley Leonard. I just think that that's a lot of points on Daniel Jones.
No, Daniel Jones is gone.
No, I know. I'm saying.
You mean because he's gone? Yeah.
Yeah. If he was there, it would be tight. They might be favored. So I don't know.
Seattle. You said who'd you say is the best team in the league right now? LA. You said it earlier. Okay, you can make a strong argument that Seattle is. They're playing in Seattle. Riley Leonard at quarterback. I was already screaming from the rooftops that the Colts were going to get exposed before listen to me, I already got Rivers playing quarterback. Before Jones got hurt, I was already saying the minute they play somebody, they're going to fall off. Okay, go ahead, make your pick.
But what they do well is not, their run team. They're good up front, good defense. I think they keep it within 14. I think Seattle wins by 10. That's what I'll say. All right, Vikings, Cowboys. I'll take the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys they're still hot. I think the Lions just played really well. Yeah, they look. Wait, is CD back?
Does it matter? No, I don't know for sure.
It matters.
That line. It's at Dallas. I'm not sure. I'll look it up real quick while you're doing
I was
the other
watching my boy CD Lamb live, and I seen him get hurt, and I need
as usual. He's always hurt.
Yeah, he's put.
Is he not? Up. He's always hurt
because he plays hard. Give me the
He's
Steelers.
He cleared concussion protocol. Yeah.
What a dog. All right, give me the Steelers at home over the Dolphins. A-Rod all day.
All right, so you've got Indy plus the 13.5, and you've got the Cowboys minus 6.5.
Yep.
And you got the Steelers minus 3.
Yep.
All right, up at the top for me, Carolina and New Orleans. I think New Orleans is actually playing very good. Tyler Schalk playing out of his mind. Dude is looking nails. But I got to go with the Panthers there. I'm going to agree with you there. Packers and Broncos, one of the best games of the season, lining up. I'm going to go with Denver to keep their streak rolling. It's hard for me to say that because even though I'm a Lions fan, I'm a huge Packer believer. Seahawks, I'm going to take them to cover. Indy's a mess. Cowboys minus 6.5. And I'll go ahead with the Steelers. Do you see
don't
how
like them?
Well, I just think that there's issues there. Do you have a total number of disagreements that we have? Were you keeping track?
Did you go Cowboys?
Yes.
Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have five different.
5. Okay, 5 differences. So We're
Jags,
definitely not gonna.
Bills,
We're
Chiefs.
definitely not gonna end up. We're definitely not gonna end up with the same record there. That's for sure. All right, guys. Again, the QR code in the upper right-hand corner. Go ahead, please take your phone, scan that. Takes you right to YouTube. Smash the subscribe button. If you are on YouTube or you are on Facebook, please follow us on X at PB Sports Talks. Monday or Tuesday, there'll be a new announcement made. We will.
Muted, I think.
All right, how about now?
Yep, you're good.
All right, scan the QR code. It takes you to YouTube. Smash the subscribe button. If you are on YouTube right now or you are on Facebook, please follow us on X at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end. That's where all the regular material goes to first, YouTube being second. Monday or Tuesday of next week, there'll be a new membership that is released for members. You will get our weekly picks like we just did, but the prop picks and such will be to members only. Stay tuned for that information that will go out. As well, Luke and or myself will have material behind that paywall for young players, for coaches, and for parents on how to get through different trials and tribulations of the process of going through sports programs, what to look for and stuff. We're going to keep it very simple and very helpful. It will be very, very affordable, and you will have access as a member to information and predictions and picks and all sorts of different things that not the average person will have without the membership. So stay tuned on that. Luke, awesome to have you back, buddy. Great job. What's the weather in Michigan right now? Like right now, what is it? I guess.
Probably 15, 20.
Adam, have a good night as well. 15 to 20 degrees.
Right now it's 21, feels like 16.
Man, you can have that. It was when I started the show, it was 75. Florida misses you, buddy. You got to come back.
I'll be there in 2 weeks, I think.
All right, man.
A little bit.
Have a great night, a great weekend. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We will talk to you soon. I say it every week. I will say it again. Hug someone, hold someone, love someone. Life is short. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Good night, Luke.
Sure. Good night.
Bye-bye.